Kalimera, Kalispera, whatever time you're watching, this is Mappa. It's been a while since we've last done an interview, but we've got a bit of a club legend here. A bit of a club legend, a gentleman that has been through the ranks at Limassol, has paid his dues, so to speak. Nikola Vitorovic. Brate, how you doing?
Hi, brate. I'm fine. Yeah, legend. If I had 500 games for them, but yeah, at least something stays. Something from me stays in IL for
You've
sure.
got it in your DNA, though. It's in your DNA, and you're in the
Yeah,
club's
for
DNA.
sure. Yeah, for sure. That's a good point that you're stating. Yeah.
There you go. So you're in Latvia at the moment. How are you enjoying your time out there? All good?
Yeah. All good. Like now, nine months now here. Due to the pro license, I came here, got a job, moved from Mongolia where I was head coach there. Came here, tried to a bit stabilize my life and the traveling that I had to do every month coming here. So now, yeah, I'm happy with the club here. We're doing well. We have involved in 3 teams actually, and it's a here there's a different style of management and everything. So yeah, you have 50, 60 people, players, which are divided into 3 teams. The first team, Supernova 2, like the reserves, and you have the under 18, the elite, which similar plus minus is the same players. Okay, the first team can a bit different. You have more experienced players in that, but in general, there's a rotation of players playing in all three championships, and we're doing well. We're top of the league everywhere. Not top, like we're second in the first liga, we're second in the second league, and we're second in the under 18 elite. So it's a good thing. Good thing, especially for Supernova, who haven't seen success in a long time, to be honest. So yeah.
Well, the league is developing, and we saw one team from Latvia knock out Apoel in Europe. So clearly, the level is getting better, and I'm pretty certain that when you guys get into the top division, you'll be in and around the title hunt. Hopefully.
So yeah, we'll see how we're gonna. We took a young team. With also the sporting director, and we took a young team which we wanted to, at least from the 20, at least keep 15 for next year if we promote. Which now we're in a very good road, I can say, for that. So that's the way it was. Development was number one, and then to be in the top places in all the competitions that we're gonna be. So we're doing well. Yeah, for RFS, as you're saying. Yeah, I've talked also to Efrem, Yorgos Efrem, when he came to Latvia. Yeah, they weren't ready. Also, they weren't ready as RFS was. RFS is late league games now already, so they were much more match fit and everything. But again, for Cypriot Apoel, it's probably a disaster to get knocked out from RFS. But RFS is a team that invests not the budgets that Apoel has. But yeah, they you can see that they literally only have 1 or 2 locals playing in. They're playing together a long time, so it's not easy to beat a team that's it's synchronized. They know each other. So yeah, it's a good thing. I watched the first game. I went to the stadium on the first game, the 2-1. I was saying on the stands, maybe a third goal is needed also, so that they can be more comfortable, because in Recipe it's going to be one way. It's going to be a one way, but they kept well. They kept
Yep.
well in there. They scored, and yeah, like I told also the coach, Upwell is Upwell. They're gonna find a goal in the 95th from nowhere.
Yeah.
It's their lifestyle. They've done it so many times in Cyprus. So yeah, and he was laughing a bit, but it came like that. But I'm happy that they passed to the next round. It's good for Latvian football because they are investing a lot. You can to be honest, maybe you can't see it. It's not because I'm working here, but it's a lot of things that they are trying to cancel out the older fashion that's still inside Latvian football and try to move on. So yeah, like Victor is a young coach, which he also had. He also passed from Cyprus as a player before. Um, and you can see that Riga, who is like the affiliate club or not, maybe Pafos is the affiliate club
Maybe.
of Riga. Yeah. So that's their Riga investing a lot of money, much bigger budget than RFS. But you see, money doesn't bring everything. So, but at least they have everything from facilities. You can't say it's a village league. um, Riga also has here affiliate teams like Auda and other two teams that are under their structure.
Hmm.
But for sure, it's developing. I'm not saying it's a world class league, but it's developing, and day by day it's better, and you can see by the results. And hopefully now this RFS can get something out, at least experience they're going to get from all the games that they will have, like Ajax coming here and all
Yeah.
that, Galatasaray and everything. And the only bad thing is that they're not going to play at their field, where at their stadium where they played against Upper. They're going to be playing in Daugava Stadium, so the atmosphere is going to be a bit different. But yeah, that's a bit of a resume from here.
There you go. Well, hopefully it goes well for them. And speaking of going well, let's talk about your time in Cyprus, because what I want to do is go right from the beginning, because Serbian background, Cyprus, how did this all come about? Obviously, the IL fans will know and people that recognize you, but just for the benefit of our viewers, tell us about
Let me
the beginning. The beginning.
let me surprise you. Let me surprise you. And so my father came 1988 to Cyprus, played for some clubs, top division and second division, like that generation of Serbian players. And after that, he was in Apepitsilias, and Apepitsilias got relegated from top division to second division, and they banned foreigners in the second division for that season. It was the fifth year that my father would have gotten also the nationality like the others did,
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and then he couldn't actually find a club, because all the clubs he played for were all in the second division that time. Doxa Aris was also in second division. Michailidis was coach then, and Abebitsilias. And then he couldn't find a club in the top division, where he needed one more year. And that in those generations, you needed straight 5 years. It wasn't like you're just staying 5 years. You needed straight
Yeah.
5 years in the league to blah blah blah. And yeah, so that didn't happen. He stayed in Cyprus. I was born in Cyprus, so and after that I started in the academies and till maybe 12, 13. I was I was a bit tall for my generation. Then I stayed short. Now I'm not considered, not even medium, to be honest. But yeah, and then at 13, 14 started playing starting lineup in IL. And from that, in those generations, we only had under 15s, under 17s, under 21s. We didn't have this what now there's for every year you've got a generation playing in league.
Mm.
So I think from under 15s, I jumped to the under 21s, played one season, then for under 17s, back first team at 16, 17. And yeah, I was maybe only 1 year from these 3 years that I was in the youth leagues. Only 1 year I was in top scorer. In that season that I was the best young talent in Cyprus, I had
2007,
49.
yeah?
Yeah, 2007. I
2007?
had 49 goals, I think, in one season. And I played also for the first team that time. And yeah, after that, it's like I used to live above Sifael in an area, and every time I used to get down, every time it was hey, La Mesa, come here, sit with us. How's the team? And you create a bond like that. And my brothers now, they're fanatic Isle fans. My brother now is like he's not with Chris. Is the main kid manager, but my brother is like the second kid manager of Isle, and at least he's good. He saw that he wouldn't make a big career from football. He tried, but now he's there where he loves the club. He's there. He couldn't be more closer, to be honest. So yeah, and for Cyprus, that's it. Maybe yeah, only the national team that I haven't mentioned. I had that issue. I don't know. It wasn't like now. We did not have. I think I was the only foreigner with a surname that we had. It was Tofa, Sefrem, who was what was there's General Canet. They were all Cypriots. It's maybe only Ombigu, if you know Ombigu, who was
Mike Ombigo, that was at Anorthosis.
no. Chris Ombigu. He was from an African background. Passed through Apollon. He played for the first team of Apollon, and they were calling him Ombigu. And he was me and him were the only like foreigners again, I'll say. And I had an issue not being called up in the national team of Cyprus. Then Serbia called me under 17s, played there, and then when they saw that Serbia called me and they didn't, probably they got, why are we calling him? And then one of the coaches that I respect a lot, Zuvani from Paralimni, he took over the under 19s, and he came out and he said on his interview, I'm happy to do it, but there's one of the issues. I don't know why Nikola was not called up, and this will be changed, and blah, blah. And then I was called up. Then one of the worst things which came was the army, and
I was going to ask if you had to do that.
I did. I was on the lists of the national team and everything, and I had an okay time. First, I was at Loho Stradiu in Polemidia, and after that, then I went to the worst camp that can happen, Exidegatria Maskiadis, and I was going out every day, but it wasn't the same, And then one day from nowhere, I had to do 24 months. One day from nowhere, they came and they told me, Nico, you're going home. I'm like, why? There's a rule change. You're doing 14 months and blah, blah. Were you born Cypriot or were you born Serbian? I'm like, I was born Serbian. My father when I was 12, I got my Cypriot citizenship, and he said, okay, then you're released. We'll call you with your papers. And I just left 14 months and 3 days. And I left. And after that, I was on loan for maybe 2 years. I was in Pareklishan, the team that invested a lot of money. We tried to get to the first division. Then they just bankrupt, and then I left. For abroad, played maybe 3, 4, 5 countries. I don't remember, to be honest. And then for me it was all about getting new culture, because I started the C license because of playing under 17s in Serbia. I was automatically allowed to go to the C license. So when they called me up, they said, Nico, you just have to be there for a week and you're going to get it automatic. And I said, okay. And then in my brain came also the coaching while I was 24 and still playing professionally, but still, on the side, I'm like, yeah, why not? And then B license came. I did that also. And one after the other, and we came to one day that I got an offer from Bangladesh to be head coach and player, and I took it, and that's how things changed. So.
Well, you've summarized your whole career, but I'm sure there's a lot of things that you haven't mentioned. And the first thing I want to ask is, you being the son of a pro footballer, what was that like for you growing up in Cyprus? Because look, I'll be honest with you. You might not want to admit it, but there was still a lot of, oh, you're foreign kind of thing out there. You know, so growing up, not only as the son of a footballer, but also a son of a foreign footballer, having been born in Cyprus, what was that like for you?
The good thing was that in plus minus, the coaches that I had were people who used to play with my father, you know, and my father is, you can't have a bad word to say about him. Whoever, if you mention his name, is gonna say Chrysos Astrobos, Chrysos Astrobos and Magos tis Balas. So it was two things that you're gonna say, and it, and maybe there was always a plus for me, maybe football wise, but different. I said that we had that problem, and I still believe that it was a thing. It could, I mean, let's say I was called up for one training in under 15s national team, where I had in a season when I was playing with I was playing with the olders, and I had 30 goals in a season, and the next person had 13, and he was called up and I wasn't. And the Digologia was, he's Cypriot, he has the documents to be Cypriot, that kind
Even
of
though,
thing.
even though you were born, out there.
Yeah. I don't know, and then it just went. I lost one season to one season. I lost the top. I was playing for the under 17s, I think, and I was 1990, and it was 89 generation league.
Okay.
And I lost the top. Spot from Mindikis. If you remember him, he used to play top division of Salamina.
No.
He was a top scorer. He had, I think, something 45, and I had 5-6 goals less. And still, and it just happened after I got called up for Serbia. Then when it started to a fire. It was like, why is Serbia calling him up, and why isn't Cyprus calling him up then? And then I went to Euros with under 17s of Serbia, and when I came back, it was starting like, we're gonna call up Nico. We're gonna call up Nico. Should he come? And then they were asking my father, and then my father was like, he's gonna choose. And then I knew that in Serbia, 90% I had no chance, because, like we spoke earlier, that generation, all of the guys, like the main guy that I was playing next to him, was already a starting lineup player for Fukurad in Super League, and he had 15 goals in top division of Serbia for the under 17. And
who was in that squad? Who was in that squad? Any names that we might recognize?
Šćepović, Kojić, Maksimović. You had Medojević, who was now he was 88 generation, and those are Medojević was the captain at 17 years old. He was playing for Vojvodina, and then he was captain before leaving. Then Šćepović was in Spain, where Kojić was in Partizan. Then you had the goalkeeper is Rapid Vienna. You had players playing in top divisions, and I was 17 years old, called up for the under 16, and I was playing for under 17s or second team, something like that. So it was a big difference, And people asking, when I did the interview in Serbia, I'm like, I play for IL, training with the first team, playing under 21s, under 17s. The other guy is talking after me, and he says, yeah, I'm the starting lineup player for Rapid Vienna. Like, okay, there's a big difference there, Yeah, close enough. Yeah, but that's the difference. That's the difference that, we now I think it's changed in Cyprus, but before it was like 23, 24, you're still young, but even I see it here in Latvia. At 20, you're already old. At 20, 21, 22, you're already considered, old.
Senior.
Because guys here have, you have kids playing at 16, 17 years old in top the first team, and at 20 they already have 3-4 seasons full, and that's how they at 20 they go to Italy third division Serie D or something like that. We've transferred one. Okay, this guy was ex-national team player. He went to Serbia, then under 19 top scorer of the league and also of our club went to Ukraine top division, and another defender from also the under 19 elites, he went to Czech Republic, Slavia Prague. So
Okay.
yeah, we're moving, you're transferring, but that's the difference there, in Cyprus, that generation, it was very difficult, and especially my generation, which I believe was one of the best generations IL had, and we couldn't make it more than 5-10 games because that's when 15 or 12 became 19 foreigners in the squad.
Right.
Right. And my first season in the first team, I'm playing striker, or let's say I can play somewhere else, and I've got Nemanja Čorović, Oforikwe, Mihalcha, Simos Krasas, and then you're like fifth option, and if you're gonna get some time playing, maybe whatever you do in the preseason or in the friendlies, even if you're scoring, but it was difficult that time, and but it's not excuses. You learn from this, and I strongly, after that, I strongly supported that time, because we were bringing quality foreigners that time. You had quality foreigners from like 20, you could have brought 15 very good. Now it's the opposite. Now it's just pumping up the positions just with anyone, and in those times you can see, look at our generation. It was Shelis, Ephraim, who else was in the national team? Andoniadis. These old guys did not come and just, okay, you're going to play. Maybe, okay, Ephraim did, because he came from Arsenal, then went to, I don't know, Dundee Rangers or somewhere. Yeah, and then he came to Omonia. But the others, they were sitting on a bench to Ailton, to Manduka, to that kind of players, and they've learned, why am I not playing? It's because I need to be as good as him, and then you learn. And that's why we had a good generation with Bambos, which all of these guys with a very good coach who did not have, any issues of, are we going to defend or not? No, let's press them, and we got results. We finished third, I think, in that group stage, to be honest. But because it's that generation, now Aspexio Gypreos. Yes, Aspexio Gypreos, but does he deserve to play? Or just because he's there and he has to? Yeah, we've got 5, 6, 10 players that are good. I'm not saying they're not. And what it's like, I spoke to some, I don't remember who, but the thing with Kagoulis and Bittas, the two players which didn't matter. Budget didn't matter. Foreigner didn't matter. They started playing because they had something that Berg or whoever was coach, Sofronis or whoever was coaching Apollon, saw that these boys are giving me more than if I bring a player of 50, 20, 30,000. And that's how they got their chance. And now both of them are okay. Gagoulis is. I think he's not playing now, to be honest. I don't watch a lot of.
No, he's coming off the bench. The thing is with Gagoulis, he's a little bit unlucky because Stepinski has been scoring goals like regularly, so you can't take him out of the team when you're playing one striker. But Gagoulis could have joined Gothenburg in the summer. They were very close. So and the thing is, look, I love Gagou. I know him personally, and I've seen his development since breaking into the first team. And this is a player that, how you mentioned before how Ephraim learnt from Ailton and all that. Gagou has played with Derbyshire, Shepovic, Duris. And these are just strikers. We're not talking about your Botiaks and all. So he's learned, and his development has been incredible because it's not just about scoring goals, which, okay, he's not an out-and-out goal scorer. But his movement off the ball, his pace is electric. So he's starting to use that more to pull defenders out of position. Bitta was a left winger. And then he evolved into one of the deadliest strikers in Cyprus. And now he's doing it in Sweden.
Sweden, yeah.
You know?
For sure.
But
that's
the fact is that you have other players like, no disrespect, Loizu, who started very well, and I think he became a little bit too big-headed, went to the Netherlands, and it hasn't been great for him since. So it's the balance.
Loizo is I got in a fight with someone on social media because of, you remember like 4 years ago where when Club Brugge came with a 1 point or 2 point something
Yes,
and they
yes.
wanted to buy him, and I'm like,
Sell.
they should sell. He's 16. He can be an elite player if he goes to Club Brugge. I στον να ψηθεί.
Yeah.
Who are you as Omonia to say that you can do better than Club Brugge to make him a better player? You understand what I mean? But I'm not disrespecting Omonia, but whoever Cypriot team, it's Club Brugge. Club Brugge has one of the biggest lists of players in the world, elite players.
Development,
That's the difference where he's now and he would have been here. That's the difference.
Well, Baba Stavro's argument was they're not going to be bullied into selling at a low price. But I'm thinking, how much is he worth? Because the most expensive player that's left Cyprus is what? Zalai, I think. 2.8 million, I think.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Loizo at 16, 17, even 18 is going to be worth that. I mean, just this January gone, Ari sold Bambika for close to 3 million, and he won a league title.
Yeah.
So
he was flying.
he put Glasgow Rangers to the sword twice. You know, so I just think that's strange.
Yeah, I still believe that was the biggest mistake for him. I don't care about the money, but for him, that was the biggest mistake. He would have been on a different level, and it doesn't. The point was that not everyone sees football like individuals, like coaches, like everyone can be a Provenidestis Kerkidas, you know, but there are things that you have to put down. Like I told you, it's the development he would have had in Club Brugge would have been totally different, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, he got 20 more games and what 3 years later, let's see what is he doing. He went to Heerenveen, didn't play, came back, and he could have made a different. He could have gone to Club Brugge, not played so much, could have got the development at 16, 17, could have got, that's the most important. He's not 25 when you're selling him, he's 16 when he was, 17 when he was. And then and now he's there and he's not even starting for the national team. And he could have been a totally different player, you know, and that's
I think it is though. I think they saw the development of Johnny's and how well he did, and then they got close to 2 million for him from Sporting Kansas, and they probably thought, Loizo is more of an attack-minded player. He's got more skills and technical ability. But for me, Johnny's was always up there, to be honest, ahead of Loizo. That's my opinion, because he had everything, the work rate, everything. And that's not to say that Loizo doesn't, but Johnny's, for me, was a more finished player at the same age as Loizo. So I think they saw the development of Johnny's. I thought, well, if we can get almost 2 million for him, how much can we get for Loizo that's got the star attraction kind of thing? You know, I think that's what they were thinking personally. I don't know. Cultura, no?
Yeah. But again, Johnny's, he went. We have to put in consideration where each player is going. Okay, Omonia saw it like a business thing, not more of a player side, you know. But you know, Johnny's went to Sporting Kansas. He's gonna be there, and he's maybe 2-3 years he's gonna go somewhere else. But in my eyes, that moment for Loizo was being the next big thing, you know, being the next big, not the best thing in Cyprus, being something more, you know, because he had in that moment at 16, 17, he was crushing the right backs and left backs. He was losing the ball. He was standing up, winning it behind, you know, he had everything, you know. Now he's where he was before. And that only Club Brugge, if you would have told me Poland, I would have told you, come on, what are you talking? It's
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
It's standard years. These academies have something different, gang. It's a different thing, and but yeah, I mean, time shows, and you see, it's all time will always show if you was right or wrong, and I think it was a
Yeah.
wrong decision.
Yeah. Well, look, let's go back to you because you mentioned doing the army, and as you probably are aware, the president of Cyprus, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to say that young players who are in the Strador have to cancel their football for the 14 months. Now, I've spoken to footballers that are currently doing the army and their parents as well, and they say they've already had it difficult to get out of the army to do their training. What was it like for you back then?
At the beginning, we had an issue because before that it was like Pais Psychiatrion, you get the paper and that's it before
Mm.
us. And our generation, it just hit us. It just hit us. Change of rules, no, everyone was there. We went and we were in a line, and are you doing the army or aren't you doing the army? And we were going to, and it was me. There was a line, and they were telling you can go there and you can go there. And it was that day, when we went, we were in Paphos. It was me, Stelios Dimitriou, um Efrem, two guys from Anorthosis, one guy from Paralimni. We were all in the same. We went all to Kem Pafu. Probably they sent us there for a reason, because the guy from Paralimni, what is he doing in Paphos?
Mm.
In Kem Pafu. And we went there, and we went in the line where, oh, we won't do army, and we saw the list, and everyone's names was okay, and only our names had two asterisks next to them, our names. And they knew who we were when we went there. They knew,
Mm.
and we had asterisks. We went there, and they're like, no, you can't, blah blah, you have to stay for the night, we're gonna see tomorrow, then you can speak with the DGDs, blah blah blah. And everyone else who were unknown people, who they just said, okay, Psychiatrio, Hartim, bye bye.
So
Yeah,
they kept you in
everyone.
overnight.
Yeah, we stayed overnight. Next morning, TV came, blah blah blah, and Gembafu. Everything was how Stelios was talking on the TV. He was saying, how is this possible so many years before, now on our generation, blah blah blah. And we had that anyway. And
But why did they make you guys stay and not the others? To teach you a
oh,
lesson because you're
no,
footballers
I don't
and
know.
you.
Just because we had that asterisk, probably because the president that time they made the rule change that the um, the athletes or football players. It was more. We
Yeah.
had no. There were no other sports related players or whatever. There was only football players that, and they they had told us that it was obligatory to go to the. You would get the Efconisis, but if you take the paper, then you have to give up your Deltio years, the health thing. You have to give it up, and then you're not allowed to play. It was the first threat. It was the first threat, and then we didn't. Then they let us go, and they said this has the you have Adia, blah 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 blah, and we came back. I don't know how you say it. And we came back
Yeah.
to the day where we were, when we had to promise that we're going to be a good soldier and blah blah.
Yeah. It's like
And we
an
got,
initiation kind, not
yeah,
initiation, but like a
and
yeah.
we all came there, and everyone was standing in line, and we were just a circle behind, and we were standing there with normal clothes everyone's wearing. And after that, they gave us papers where everyone's going, and one was sent to in the middle of nowhere, the other one was sent there, and I was sent in Polemidia, Odigos, a driver, Polemidia, Logos Strategiu. So it was the best place you could go. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna start fighting about this. It's a good place. Let me go.
Mhm.
And I talked with my father, and he said, look, the only way after is just fighting with them every time this, and you don't know what's gonna happen. till they finish, you're gonna probably even do like 10 months.
Mhm.
And I went to the army, went to the first day. The Gidis of that branch was a very, football minded person. He was a Poland fan. He was
Oh
a
no.
Poland. Yeah, yeah. But but respect to him, to be honest, because he could have been totally different, but he's like, no, I know you, Ise Bertuin, and you're gonna be the driver of the Ipodigiti, and what's the name? It's not Taxiarchos, but Ipodigitis, and there was another position under Ipodigitis, and you're gonna be their driver. Get to the door, hit the door of the first person. He was Valanidis. Valanidis was fan of Ael, and and then I hit the door of the Ipodigidi. Ipodigidis was media officer of Ael some years ago when my father was technical director of Ael. And they're like, oh,
So
Nicola,
you
I'm
got
like,
lucky.
oh,
You got lucky.
yeah, oh, Yadi, and everything, everything was good. Was I got what I was allowed. I got. I didn't get nothing more. I was driving them where they had to go. If I had training and I had to take them to Nicosia for a meeting with, I don't know, for some, I'd miss training. It's a, but when there's nothing to do, you're allowed to go to training 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. You come back, you can go to the afternoon training. You come inside 10, 12, 10, 12, like, I don't know how it's service 10 to 12
Yeah.
till the morning, and you go drive again. And that was it. That was it for me till I got injured. I had Kisogili. It was lower abdominal pain, and I went to the doctor. It was a game after preseason, and I felt big pain, and I asked please if someone can check me, and they said, oh, this is not good. There's a bump, and yeah, in a matter of 3-4 days, I had the surgery, and for my usually unluck, they send me to Exidegatria Mathkiadis, which is number one. When the war starts, you're first to go.
Front line, yeah.
Yeah, front line. So Exidegatria, you go there. It's in the middle of Nicosia. It's nothing to do. You don't know anyone. There's no IL, there's no this, there's no that. People who, most of them, yeah, maybe they watch football, but they don't know, much more. And people from Limassol said, we can't help. You have to do your own, and da. And I went there, and they said to me, it can't be worse, and I'm like, oh man, it's just gonna be a disaster. And before going there, it was November. Till I went there, it's gonna be beginning of December. And I asked Ael to leave. To go on loan. And I went to Halkanoras, and Halkanoras was in Dali. Dali was close to Matkiadis, so I could have be going to training, everything, and everything was set, because I was in Halkanoras in 2008-2009 season for half season, and it was going to be great. And get there, and Paraklishas, Enosinon Paraklishas then took me, and I didn't go to Halkana, and then I had to go Paraklisha, Matkiadis every single day, leave in the morning, come back, and then do service. And the only service I could do was 12 to 3 in the morning. And you walk 3 hours around the base, and you just sign. And that was the only. He said to me, Nico, this Digidis, he was like, Digidis is, probably they said he was the worst person that, every time you ask for something, it's ohi, ohi. And for some reason, maybe my baby face looked good. I don't know what. But I never created problems. He said no, I didn't answer back. He says, no, okay, I call, I say I can't come to training today, that's it. I can't come to training, and it is what it is. And then,
Yeah.
he saw that I'm not the guy who's going to go start fighting with him, right? And I asked every time I was, and then he said, okay, Nico, every day you're allowed to go out, three times the antichterepsis, and every day you're allowed to go, but come back. But because we take it seriously here, you're only allowed to do the 12 to 3 in the morning. I'm like, no problem. I'll come 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock there is assembly, and we go to sleep 12 to 3. And that was for the next December, January, February, March, 4 or 5 months. I was doing that, and it was very difficult, to be honest. I used to have cramps. I used to have cramps at halftime, at 60 minutes, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult. I could feel that I can't get out, because I still had 2 years. And then they just called me in March, and they said, you're released. I said, fantastic. And after that, I needed a year to bring my head back. And after that, maybe 1.5 years later, I started playing abroad. I left from Cyprus, and that's it.
Well, Phila, let me ask you about your football career with regards to the army service, because do you think that doing your strado kind of put your career on halts? Like, did it slow it down, or put it this way: if you didn't have to do your army service, would you be playing first team?
Yep. In my opinion, yeah, because I wouldn't go on I wouldn't go on I wouldn't go on loans because of the army. Because in my head it hit. I have to do the army. I can't be keeping up with first division, tempo and everything. And till then I had nothing. I was only concentrated on football. And then this comes in, and then he's like, hey, you're gonna have that, and then you're thinking things over. And I went on loan, and I could have stayed, but at the end of the day, I don't regret anything. I mean, many people ask me, journalists, and I don't regret anything. And I'm happy with the career I had. And it could have been better, it could have been worse, but it is what it is, and I'm happy. I've played in 5-6 countries. I've been to so many countries, worked because of maybe that, because maybe I wouldn't leave to go to Lithuania in 2013-14 if it was I was in Ireland. I wouldn't go, and I wouldn't make the step, and I would have maybe stayed in Cyprus, played all my life in Cyprus, maybe.
But Phila, the difference is you've got the right mentality, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful to the Cypriot players, but I think a lot of them don't really have that in them to want to go to various countries. I think, look, there are lots that I know that have gone to live in Belgium and the UK and other parts of the world, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the footballers in Cyprus, do you think they want it enough to go and play abroad, or to go to, do you get what I'm saying? At 17,
you're
18,
asking me. I have from so much experience, I have an answer, and I have an example for that answer for that. So I stopped helping Cypriot players in 2016.
Okay.
Why? Because I signed in Romania. I signed in Romania, second division team. Andrian Mutu, if you know, he was the co-owner of the club.
Mutu that used to play for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Fiorentina.
His father is like legend in that area. Everything. So okay. Mutu and Kivu, two of the guys, and
Defender.
Kivu was in Inter, and So we get to the club there. A friend of mine signed there first, and then he's like, coach, we have a guy who has a good CV, he can come help us. And I signed there, and from nowhere there's like 6 foreigners and all of the locals. And he comes to me and he says, because I went to to the first friendly games, and I was scoring in each friendly game, and and he comes and he says, "Nico, you're captain." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks," and he says,
Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks.
thanks, man. And Nico, you're captain, and I'm like, that's good. You have players. You have goalkeeper Zimmerman, who played in Germany, played there, 34, 5 years old, and I'm 27 and 26, and he comes and he says, "You're captain." I'm like, he took off the band from him to give it to me, and I'm like, okay. And he says, Can you help us find the 2, 3 players?" And I'm like, no problem. And I start calling players, and there was two boys. One was the best defender in the second division of Cyprus, and the other one was top scorer of Cyprus, second division. I won't say names, you know. And we had a good package. Package was you live in the hotel of the camp, no food, you get food, you get everything, and a good salary. Μα ρε φίλε, πιάνω τα ίδια δαμέ. He works and he plays, and he gets the same money. Same money. I don't know. I'm not, but it was a good package, And then I said, if someone like him, who has everything behind him, with stats, with everything, and he's thinking like that, that means there's nowhere, And he could have easily come and scored 10 goals, let's say 15 goals, and in a matter of 6-7 months could have been playing for top division of Poland, or somewhere taking 25-30K per month. But they don't want to, and some people just they just don't want to move. They have that you're in one box and comfort zone, and you're there. But I was never like that, and I was always moving, and like even at the last 2 years of my contract with AEL, I said, why sit and play 10 games when I can go out and get 25 games per season and be starting lineup? And that's what I did. And I had 50 games in the last 2 years of my contract of AEL. And then when I signed to Lithuania, I was flying because I was match fit. I was ready, not sitting on the bench, and or not even being in the squad, and not being ready for an occasion like that. And that's what kept me going, because I had that base from 17 till maybe 23, when I had full games. I had 25-30 games per season, 25-30 games per season. And even though in the army I was still playing, it was difficult, but still you've got that fitness, you got that match fitness. And then moved to so many, wherever. I don't remember where I went, to be honest. Malta, and then Germany, and Singapore. Singapore was one of those things that was, you can talk about football and how fit you are, but when you go to Singapore, you're not fit for that. You're not fit for that at all. I was
I guess the
200.
climate as well. Was
it
it the climate? Yeah.
It was the worst thing ever happened to me. I swear to you. I had like 6-7 goals half season, some assists, playing full games in Lithuania, and got an offer. Went there, first training, low intensity training. I nearly had a heart attack. It was so bad.
The humidity. Was it the humidity and
Yeah,
everything, or
the
just
humidity. I was feeling that I was training like this,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it took me like 2 months to get used to it. But again, I was that guy who says that this is preparing me for something else. This is always where I go. Like even Romania, when I went to Romania, 2 weeks before that, there was the worst ever winter in Cyprus, which was so cold in December, end of December. It was so cold. I'm like, this is happening for a reason. I went to Romania, and the first time I played in snow and these kind of things, And maybe it's delusional, but it always,
No.
And
Things
then,
happen for a
yeah,
reason. Things happen for a reason.
exactly. And then this Singapore thing was when I went to Bangladesh then to be a head coach and player. It was the same climate, same everything, And I'm like, I know how to get through this, I know how to get through this, and it helped me. And then after that, I didn't need 3 months. I just needed 10 days to get used to it, and it helped. It helped, and everything was, But if I was sitting at home in Cyprus and doing that, I wouldn't know. And that's why I say I never regret anything, because my journey, I had maybe when I was 18, 19, I said like till 40, I want to have my pro license. 35, play football till 35, maybe 1, 2, 3 years. Now, I mean, now you need 10 years from the day you start till you get your pro. You need 10 years in this moment. And I'm not even 35 yet, and I'm gonna get my pro license. So
preparing yourself,
maybe I'm ahead of that.
for the future.
Yeah,
Of course, you've
exactly.
got to be.
And
You've got to be.
And I'm happy where I am, and I told that also the journalists in Cyprus, and they said like, very down to earth answers. I'm like, no, but it's the reality. I never cried like many. Maya diem bezo, ma namundudos, and I wasn't like that. I told you, if I was good enough, I was gonna play in that moment, but in that moment I wasn't ready at 17 to get the position of, let's say, Mihalcha or Chorovic, who's a club legend in IL, and then you get players and players more. Then Sergio came, Freddie came,
Freddie,
Clayton,
love Freddie,
yeah,
love and Clayton.
yeah,
Good boys.
Clayton came, Miguel Vargas from Peya. Then you're like, we were that you're getting on a different level. I learned from everyone. I've learned from many things. Sergio was a totally different player from Freddie. Sergio was that type of, you learned 2-3 things from there. Freddie was that guy, not too technical, but he was fast, he was explosive, he would put it in front, he was always in front of the defenders, plus he would score. Then he wouldn't see his technical, that he wasn't good technically that much, but you could, because his first touch was chop and he was there, but when he makes 2-3 touches, it's already a problem. But he was deadly, he was deadly, and you learn from that. You learn from Clayton, and Clayton was told he was from a different universe. He was the player. It was him and Miguel Vargas used to put the ball on one was on the goal line and the other one was on half field, and they used to play long balls, and the ball wouldn't fall down before they were doing this, and they juggle, hop, yeah. And we were like, man, we can't stop the ball, and they're like, they were playing. But that's what I see, that this last maybe 10 years, that there's not, you don't have 10, 15 foreigners that you're going to learn from. Maybe you have 1, 2, but what's a central defender going to learn from someone who is fantastic as an attacking midfield? Because they don't bring, now it's all about, he's a foreigner, maybe he's a bit stronger, he's a bit faster, and that's it. But there's not that quality like it was before to bring players which are going to put the level up, and that's why we're not having success anywhere in the last few years. We don't have success.
When you say that, do you mean experienced players to level up? Because I mean, look, we had the name's gone out of my head now. The lad that was at Abuel last season, the captain, the Spanish guy. Oh my God, the name's gone out of my head. Oh, why have I forgotten his name? Maybe because he played for Abuel. He was at Balk before. Crespo.
Oh, okay,
Crespo.
yeah.
Crespo came, and obviously Connor Goldson's come to Ari now from Glasgow Rangers. So they are the experienced ones. But when you say the quality, do you mean because there are good players in Cyprus that there's no need to bring your 22, 21-year-olds from, say, South America?
No. Bring them. I'm not saying no. But the thing is what? It's like, tell me, like, if you're a central defender, right? And I'll take you back to one player. Okay. What would you learn? As now you're 19 years old. What would you learn from Alambi?
Well, listen, I love Alambi. He's a friend. So
yeah,
I don't say too much, but
No, I'm telling you, what would you learn from Alambi? It's not nothing disrespectful. What would you learn from Alambi?
well, I
How
think you'd
to,
learn positional
how to be
awareness.
exactly, bravo. You will learn positional awareness, how to be tough, how to be right. You can learn stuff that some villager in Cyprus is gonna say, other than Zappa. You understand what I mean? It's that what people don't understand is that um, you bring. I don't know now this generation, but I'll tell you, like your Tage in Cyprus. He played for Alki, and and he usually had 10 to 12 yellow cards per season. And when we brought him in, everyone was saying, "What are we going to do? He's going to play 2 games. He's going to sit out." He came. You couldn't pass him. You couldn't pass him at all because he had position. He had fantastic positional play. He was experienced. He used to make our players better than him so that they can develop. Kyriakos Pelendridis, all the Cypriot guys who were there, they became much better players just because of him. Because you're not going to learn from Alambi how to stop it, how to dribble, how to do that. You understand? That's what I'm trying to say is that Manduka is going to show you something else. You're going to learn some things from Manduka, but you have to bring players in. Okay, you want to win, you want results. But at the end of the day, what I do also in my clubs in Asia is that I pick players not just because they're going to just help us win maybe results. Is that if I'm in a 3-year role in a club, I need those foreigners that I'm bringing, like, let's say, now let's take the examples of your friend Alambi. I'm bringing a player, Alambi, who I know that my boys are going to learn from him. You understand? At least those 3-4 things, that way. Not just someone who my president is going to come in and say, he's tall and fast. And you understand my
Well, but the thing is, I think maybe in I'd say the early 2000s, Cypriot football was bringing in onomada, like your Reese's. I don't think there was this long-term plan. But if I were to move forward to say the early, let's say 2020 or even just before that, when again, I'm going to use my team as an example because that's the best I can give. So when Omoni were bringing in the likes of Thomas Huberchan that won the UEFA Cup, it wasn't just because he was a name, but his experience would be beneficial for the whole squad, not just, the youngsters, but everyone in general, because he exudes confidence because you know that he's done it at the highest level. And then you had, for example, Adam Lang, that was an international. You had Michael Lufner, that was an international at under 21 level when at the time. And then obviously we brought in the lad from Apollon, Hector Juste, that had done it in the Brighton. Like, why do you think Robert is still at Ajax? Robert is 35, 36, but he brings something from not just the ability, but the mentality. Because if you're a youngster and you don't learn from these players, you shouldn't be a professional player. This is what I keep saying. If you're in the squad, for example, again, Omonia, where you got Jordi Gomez that won an FA Cup, that played for various clubs in the Premier League. If you're a youngster at Omonia and you're not learning from him, you don't deserve to be a footballer. You should be doing something else. That's my opinion.
Go become a model, something like that. No, it is. But it also comes down to, like you said before, is that should learn. No, and what I said, not complain, but learn, why am I not playing? Put those questions to yourself, why, and learn, things like we had that when we used to go to train, maybe it was we were 4 young boys that time. Everyone else was a bit older. Simos Krashas, these guys were, different generation. But we were in awe from, it was Clayton. Then we had, then after that came, with Dusan Kerkez came Igor Musa. He got sacked after like 3-4 months, but he was a maestro, But football started to change that moment where it was more faster, this, and he wasn't that type. But you come like Uon, Dosa, Dosa used to take me after training. It's like, Nico, you're coming with me, and he used to take me into the gym, and just he's like, with me, come on, come on, come on, let's go, let's go. And I produced, okay, upper body I wasn't so, but with my on my legs I was much stronger, and I used that into my benefit for. And you like, now, what did I learn from Dosa? And you can say, how you were playing totally different position, but I was there. He pushed me, into the gym where I would have not even thought about going to gym. I wasn't that kind of guy. I was based on my technique and this and that. I needed, but I got something out of those. I got something out of one. I got something from each. Rui Junior. Rui Junior was left back fantastic. You
Beast,
so many things.
beast.
Yeah, exactly. He was shorter than me, but Paul, he was. You can't compare stuff. And that
Yeah.
generation, we didn't win the cup that year in 2009 for various reasons. It is what it is. But I've learned. I'm from that generation. Maybe someone else from that
Hmm.
generation would tell you I didn't learn anything. Okay, but look where he
Yeah.
is. Look where I am. And you have to take stuff, and that's a thing. It's not all about you. Like, as a player, and I think Pitas and these boys, they all learn, so they reach the level to be, starting lineups and making a difference in the league.
Well, Phila, this leads me on to my next question. It's actually from a friend of mine, Bilavagi, from the Lions Den podcast, Big IL podcast. And he says,
Yeah.
one question really goes, do you believe in Cyprus talent is enough to progress, or is there, he says, there are some amazing talents that got lost because of the lack of meso you're in. So do you think, I mean, I think it's a fair question, because there are some players that perhaps didn't make it because they're not politically aligned with people, put it that way. That's the best way I can put it. But is talent enough in Cyprus, especially now?
Oh, Meso is everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't get you. I feel it as a coach now, and I see it, and I know how it was before. And you can't do anything. To meso and meso. You get your job done. Even in the governmental, you get the paper. If you have meso, you get the paper signed in 2 minutes, and someone else who doesn't have the meso has to go to 3 different departments to get
Yeah.
just one signature.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. And meso, and they call it now connections.
Yes.
You
Yes.
your
It's the
connection.
high class way of calling it
Yeah,
meso,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Of
High
call it,
class.
yeah.
The
They call it
professional way.
exactly the connections. How do you sign players? Connections. So it's the meson vale. So yeah, it's not enough. Talented players, talented player. I was a talented player, right? I was a talented player. You could say we had. I jumped from the 15s to the first team. Like, I jumped 17s, 19s. I didn't train. I went to the first team, came back, and I was playing with, you know. But I don't see it like it was there. If he was asking about me, if I had the meso, I believe that no, because if I had the meso, I'll tell you something else. If I had the meso, I would have been called up in the next under 19 Serbian squad, and I would have played in Kotbus for many reasons, but because my father is a guy who always says he can do it by himself. If he deserves, he's gonna do it. And I'll tell you examples. Under 19 coach of Serbia was a friend of my father's who played with him, and my father's friend was calling my father and he was saying, "Call him, just call him. It's just a call him, tell him." No, if he deserves, he's gonna pass. I go to the training when we're doing this with the under 17. I do the under 17s, and he calls him and he says, "Hey, Nico is very good. He's something different, but we have these boys from there and that, this and that. But I'll see." And he says, "Pauno, if he deserves, take him. If not," and then he calls him back after 1 year or something, and he says, it's impossible. There's 7 guys from Red Star Belgrade. The 7th guy from Partizan is in Nico's position, and then we have to call him up because we have to have an equal. And he said, no problem, no problem, you know. Or Cottbus Bundesliga, Prashnikar is head coach. He leaves from AL. My father was his right hand in AL, and he leaves, and he goes, and Aloneftis was in Cottbus that time, and he asks my father, he's like, let me bring Nico here, and he says, if you believe that this and that, but I won't ask it from you. And it doesn't happen. He could have easily again called and said, yeah, take him there, let's do something, blah blah blah. And but it is, and as again, Chrysos Astrobos. But what I learned in these years that I passed, when you're too good, it's not good, you know. So
Fide, look, I'll be honest with you, right? The whole Meso thing, I think, is suited for Cyprus. That's the thing. It's designed for Cyprus. And I'm just, look, I can give you just an example. You could talk about Ketspire, that was head coach of the Cypriot national team. There were certain players that are being picked for the squad. One in particular, Artimata, that had hardly played football for a year. The moment he got fit and back into the Anrotosi team coincided with the new squad, and he was straight in. Now, that's not to say he's not a good player, but it seems very, very suspicious that a former Ketspire player gets called up straight away when you've got other players who, no disrespect, are better and are playing at a higher level. And I can talk about players in the UK that qualify to play for the Cyprus national team, players that are playing in other parts of the world that can qualify to play for the national team that aren't being selected. I look at Gogic's son, Oka's son, right, that is now playing in Portugal. He's probably going to choose Australia because he's not getting called. You look at Gosti, that decided to choose Greece because he wasn't getting in the Cyprus national team. That's probably because Ketspire didn't get on with his dad. So there's lots of political decisions that are being made that are to the detriment of the national team. And I think that's probably why players like Marcus Edwards doesn't want to choose Cyprus, because he sees all the shit, even though he's in Portugal. So, you know.
Okay, I'll take it.
You didn't expect me to say that, did you? You didn't expect it.
I'll take all that, and I'll tell you, yeah, it's suited for Cyprus, but in Serbia it's worse.
Well, I don't know Serbia that well. I know it, but I don't know it that well.
I'm just telling you that it's becoming, you know, it's like I said, now it's the improved version. It's called Connection, you know, but Meso is. And look, we went to the World Cup. Okay, I was on the A license. A license got paused because Serbia was going to the World Cup in it was Russia. They were there for the preparations. And we had Muslim coach. Muslim was in Anorthosis, if you remember, bold coach. He took us to the World Cup. Take that guy, no. Take that guy, no. Because the biggest son of Serbian football is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic.
Yes,
and they were trying to sell him. They were trying to sell him. That moment, it was like that tag of 90 million on him from Lazio, and they were trying to sell him. And they came and they told him, "You have to take him." He's like, "No, I'm not taking him. I'm not taking him. He's not suiting my football. You know, he's not suiting any football in Serbian national team. He's not suited for our national team." He gets sacked, and Kristajic takes over. No pro license, finishing A license. He's the best friend of the president of the federation of football federation. He gets the national team as his first job, not even pro license. And then they went and they signed him fast in the Montenegro pro license, so that he's on. Like he's on.
He's legitimate. So he's qualified for sitting on the bench.
When he went to the World Cup for Serbia, and then we're talking about if. Okay, I don't agree with what I'm seeing with the national team. I don't agree. I think we have the qualities to not play with 9 defenders in each game. In my opinion. Okay, it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
matter
can say that.
how
I
or
can say
what.
the same for Cyprus with Ketspire, where he played 5-4-1
No, yeah,
or
no,
4-5-1.
but I'm saying about Cyprus. I analyzed the game. I analyzed Cyprus against Latvia. I was with my pro license group. We were in Cyprus in March, and we took care of everything. I took them also to IELTS trainings. I took them to power this and that, and we went to the national team game. And Cyprus went and played with Hambos playing as a right wing back. In what football does Hambos play a right wing back? Even though you're gonna tell me it's inverted and he's gonna come and make an extra player or whatever, we don't have right backs. We don't have wing backs who can do that, play that position. I can name you. I haven't watched football in Cyprus for maybe actively long time, but I can name you. There's Panayiotou, there's Filiodis or whatever. And there are guys who can play there. Why?
Sergio.
Because bravo. There are guys. Sergio is the boy that plays in Belgium, right? Or no?
Salamina. You're thinking of
There's another boy.
Stelios.
Stelios Andreu.
What's his name?
Stelios Andreu. Yeah. But I mean, there are kids. You can't be. I don't know. I watched maybe not last game. Okay, last game I saw that we were playing with 2 attacking players. That's good. That's good.
He put Sacha at right wing back.
Yeah,
a holding midfielder.
It's I don't like I have this style of play that he uses with 2 strikers, 3 in the middle, or sometimes 1 striker. But it depends. You can experiment sometimes, but not every time the same. And we yesterday, like 3-4 days ago, when we were doing someone did the analysis of was Georgia in our group for the qualifications of Euro?
Yeah, we got walloped.
Yeah, someone was doing Georgia. Someone was analyzing Georgia, and he's put the standings of how they qualified, how they did not qualify, because they qualified from the Nations League when they beat Greece, and they put the standing and I said, the most consistent team was Cyprus. All defeats. They were the most consistent.
Bad. Yeah.
They didn't go up. They were all in a straight line. But try something. I don't know. I'm not Mourinho, but you can't be playing against Latvia and playing totally defensive and I remember it was only 1 attacker. Loizu was not playing. No, Loizu was playing, and then Kastanos was not playing. But then Hambos was on the right. Gogic, and everyone was or a defensive midfielder or a defender, and they were playing in all the positions.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and there's so many questions because we know that. I mean, we're going over old news here, but you had Bilea that was in Aris's title-winning team was voted in the team of the season, couldn't even get on the bench. And look, okay, you got Correa. I understand. Experience, I get it, but again, he's a favorite. And you're looking at that squad, you're thinking Bilea is the best left back we've got, and he's not even. But that's because more than likely he fell out with Ketspire when he was at Anorthosis, and the grudges continue. So
probably
I'm
also
just worried.
like you said, Costi.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just worried about the next appointment because, no disrespect, if they pick Sofroni as the next head coach, it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more of the same in terms of picking the favorites. I can see it happening.
Probably it's not. Then probably it's not their choices. If there's the same and the same, that means someone else makes the choice.
No, I'm talking about the coach's favorites. I'm not talking about the CFAs. I'm talking about the coach's favorites.
In my opinion, the only guy who didn't give about that was Bambos, and that's how he got results. Because he took the players who suit his style of play. He took best or not or whatever. Yes, if I can take advantage of the best player we have now in that position, I'll take him. But if not,
Yeah.
then I'll use someone. I get the, because I've been also with the national team coach of Serbia, and he says sometimes you just have to keep the balance of the team, the core of the team, the balance, and not too many differences. Because making too many differences, there's this and that, blah, blah. I get that, but
Mm.
when things are going like Serbia, okay, they qualified, but when you're losing constantly, the, I mean, keeping the same doesn't make us stronger. No,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
literally
Exactly.
we we beat Lithuania, right,
Yeah.
last game.
1-0.
Yeah, yeah, but okay, we beat them.
Should
That's
should have been losing 3-0 in the first 20 minutes, but
I've
but
analyzed Lithuania, and now also they are doing a revamp of the
yeah.
team. They left 2-3 older guys out, and I analyzed them against Latvia, against Lithuania for the Baltic Cup, and that was the last game that the older generation was also inside, and now they started. Chernic, who was in IL before, and then he went to
Yeah.
India Super League. They got out. Now they're trying to push in the younger guys, and like younger guys, a different generation plus the ones that they had. But, it's the start for them. But Cyprus is still the same guys. I saw that they tried to put in some expats from for eligible from England and that.
Yeah. Cipriano and
Uh,
Sotirio. Yeah.
yeah,
And they should be looking at that. They should be looking at it because a lot of these players are playing top level football.
yeah.
We
I
got
don't
we got
disagree
we
with
got
that.
young Cypriots from the UK with like me, Cypriot parents that are playing in Arsenal's academy, West Ham, but they're not even looking at them. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense. But it's like what Einstein said. Was it about doing the same thing and thinking you're going to get the different result
Result.
is insanity, right? It's
Yeah.
insanity, and that's what we got with. But anyway, we can talk all day about the ethnic and it'll blow my mind honestly. But
Yeah, it's never only someone who comes and puts how can, like, I spoken to Bambos about the national team also and how it was, and you know and he says you have to put the foot down. Yes, you have
mm,
to be okay with some, but you have in the moments where your ass is, you have to put your foot down, because
exactly.
at the end of the day, they're gonna spit on you. They're not gonna spit on the whoever else is behind that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and that was a generation where we didn't care who we were playing against that time. Now we care. We care that we're playing against this and we are this and that and that. And Latvia comes. I see it from a different perspective. They say Cyprus is equal with us. We can go win them.
Mm,
10 years ago, it wasn't like that.
yeah,
10 years it was like, let's thrash, Latvia. Now Latvia even think you can say about
of
Cyprus. It's
course,
like, why? For what?
100%.
We have players playing in top division of Poland. We have players playing in Germany. We have players playing in top division of Holland. We have players playing everywhere. They have Gutkovskis, who is one of the top players in South Korean league, which you're gonna say South Korea, but South Korea is 10
No,
times
no,
better,
no, no.
faster league than Cyprus.
Yeah,
Everyone who did not go with the right mentality there could not succeed.
for
Shellis
sure.
Shellis went there. Shellis went there, but because he's a hard worker, he's a hard worker. He, he gives everything. That's why he succeeded there. But if
Yeah,
someone went and said, "I'm coming from Cyprus, top, and I'm going to South Korea," they're gonna eat your life there.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Put
Well,
all his
Fina,
thoughts.
look, it's been incredible talking to you. Thanks for your time, and hopefully we can do this again because I'm pretty sure there's loads more stories you can tell us,
For sure.
especially about your time in Cyprus. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. Before I let you go, do you have any social media accounts that you'd like people to follow you on, or anything like that?
There's long time that I stopped using. I was active a lot on Instagram and Facebook last time because of lot of work here. I'm only on LinkedIn, to be honest.
Okay.
With Facebook and Instagram, and Vito90 or Nikolas Vitorovic on Facebook. I'll accept you, but there's not too many updates in this moment. Maybe a bit later, I'll make a summary of a whole season that I'm here, and then I'll just post it slowly, because it's a lot of work here. And
You should start putting out some photographs of your time at Isle as well, because the fans will love it. And we didn't even talk about what happened at the weekend, which we're not going to do, because that's another can of worms, as we call it in England. So
yeah,
we'll leave it at that.
I'm not qualified to answer your questions for that.
Well, watch our podcast tomorrow night. Sorry, it's tonight actually. We're gonna do it live tonight. I don't know what time it is in Latvia, but we'll be doing it about 9:30 p.m. UK time, 9 o'clock UK time, and we'll be covering that at great length. So anyway. Well, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a follow on Twitter, or he's called X these days. Whatever, I don't know. At This Is Mappa on Instagram and X. And that's it. So until next time, take care.